Okay, so first let's start with this SpongeBob question that I'm sure we're having some trouble on. And when I look, it says that Squidward's family is purebred for their light blue skin and for their recessive trait of baldness. Okay, so Squidward wants, to marry some girl because he wants his kids to look cute, because I guess that's what you worry about when you're a squid. So traits he should look for in a bride. Now, should she have hair? Okay, well, when I look at my hair, it says having hair is dominant, and he does not want his kids to be bald, so does she need to have hair? Yes. Why? So his kids won't be bald. Now, he also wants his kids to be blue. Okay, so I look at my other trait. Being blue is dominant. So does she have to be blue? Well, no, because he is purebred BB. So if she's green, it's not going to matter because of how their gametes are going to combine, how their genotypes are. Okay, so he's found a potential bride, beautiful green squid Octavia, sorry. And while Octavia, so we want to find the chances of their child being blue and having hair. So Squidward's genotype, we know because they tell us he has the blue skin and he's purebred, so he's capital B, capital B. And he has that recessive trait of baldness, so he's little h, little. Octavia is green, which means she has to have the recessive trait, 2 lowercase b's. And then the trick with Octavia for her hair, because we don't, even though she has hair, I don't know if she's homozygous dominant or heterozygous. So it tells me, though, that she has hair and her father does not. It's just some weird spacing on that problem. So when I look, okay, so if she has hair, I know she has to have a capital H, but since her father does not have hair, he was bald, she had to get a recessive H from him. Okay, so now we have the genotypes. And if you FOIL, then you can get the gametes for the Punnett square. Okay, now Squidward's gametes are pretty easy because there's only 2 possible letters. So you know all of his gametes have to be capital B, lowercase h. That's all he can give to his children. Octavia, she has 2 different letters, so she has 2 different choices on her gametes. She's gonna give the lowercase b, but she could give a capital H or a lowercase h. Okay? And now that you have this part, just remember when you combine your Punnett square terms, when you're combining gametes, when we're making the lovely little squid babies, I combine my B's first, so capital B, lowercase b, and then my H's, and I want to put a capital H first, then my lowercase. So I want to group my letters together and then have the capital before the lowercase within each one. Okay? Once you have that, you can answer the questions. Do you want to build a snowman? Of course you do, because it's biology, and snowmen are cute and awesome. All right, so some of you may still have trouble looking at the genotype. Okay, so the only thing that's different with dihybrid than what we've learned before is that when I look at the genotype, I'm doing 2 traits right next to each other. Okay, so for number 1, Then I'm going to look at my nose style here, and I see I could have a long nose or a stubby nose. So remember, hetero equals or means different. So in this case, when I'm talking about different, I'm just saying my letter combination is different. My alleles are different. I have a dominant and a recessive allele. So I have a long and a stubby allele. Okay, so that's one trait. We know how to do that. Now it says I have a large body. Well, I look up at body size. And so there's a small body or a large body. Large bodies are recessive, so my other trait that I'm going to write right next to my first one is a large body, and since that's the recessive trait, I know I had to get both recessive alleles. And that's how you solve genotype. Okay? Going on to the next problem. Olaf is best friends with Frosty the Snowman because obviously all snowmen know each other. And snowmen get married and have snow babies because magically, through biology and a cute worksheet, we have given them DNA and snow cells, and they're going to reproduce, and it's going to be adorable. So, Frosty the Snowman finds the love of his life. Okay, Frosty has a large body, so I know Frosty has to be lowercase b, lowercase b. And he does not have snow feet. Okay? Snow feet absent. Up here, capital T. And it tells me in the problem, look, he has a capital T and a lowercase t. Thank you, teacher lady, for making that so easy for me. Okay, that's Frosty's genotype. I'm going to pause for a second, let you try and figure out Frosty's fiance, and make sure you got this. Okay, so Frosty's fiance. She has a small body. Well, I look at body size and I'm like, hey, small body. Well, didn't you say that small here is dominant? So I know she has to have a capital B. I know that, but I don't know what her other letter is. So I'm going to look back in the problem. Okay? It says she's purebred. So her small body is homozygous dominant. There are two capital B's there because she's purebred, and that's the same as saying homozygous. Okay, and she has feet. Good for her. Congratulations on walking around and not having to hop awkwardly. Okay, so she has feet, snow feet present, lowercase t, lowercase t. Okay, and that's how you find the gametes. Alright, so I want to see what is the probability that Frosty and his fiance will have a large baby with snow feet. So whenever I have a problem that asks me the probability of two traits, I know I'm looking to do a dihybrid cross. Now, I'm going to use the fraction method. So the first thing I'm going to do is split up the gametes for mom and dad. And I want to keep like letters with like letters. So I'm going to put Frosty on the top. And I'm going to start with the B's for body size. So lowercase b, lowercase b. Then I have to go to mom. Okay? So I got to go to his fiance. She's capital B, capital B. Okay? And now And now I'm going to go set up the other side. And I'm going to do the same thing with the t's. I'm going to give you a second to set that up. Okay, so you should have gotten Frosty. Capital T, lowercase t. And his little snow lady, lowercase t, lowercase t. Then you're going to fill in your Punnett square just like you have been doing. So in this case, you're going to match up the capital B and then the lowercase b. You'll put the capital B here, lowercase b here. So you're going to see each trait. Now, it doesn't matter which parent, mom or dad, you put first. What matters is that you have the capital letter then the lowercase letter, and you're just matching up the right sides. Okay. Alright, so now that I have my Punnett squares filled in, I can look and see what's my probability. Okay, so a large baby. I remember, and I look back up on my worksheet, and it says that a large baby is going to be the recessive trait. So what's the probability that they have a large baby? Well, I see 4 squares with the dominant trait, so the probability is going to be 0 out of 4. What's the probability that they will have snow feet? Well, snow feet present is the recessive trait. I see 2 boxes here with the recessive trait, so that's times 2 out of 4. And the math geniuses in my classes have already said, Miss Jones, you just said 0 out of 4 for the first thing, and 0 times anything 0. I know, you still got to set up the problem. So when I multiply, top times top, bottom times bottom, multiplying fractions is no problem. I get 0 out of 4. Or there's a 0% chance that they will have a large baby with snow feet. Okay? On the next question, probability they will have a small baby with snow feet. Okay? I'm looking at the same Punnett squares. Alright? And hopefully this has helped you solve a dihybrid cross problem. If you are still having trouble after watching the segments of this video, raise your hand and ask for help and make sure you understand stuff, because remember, super important, you have a test on Friday. Learn this, come to tutorials, be super successful, and then make sure you have a great weekend and life will be great. Okay, that's all for me.